I am the manager of student affairs at Trent University. I'd like to take a second just to introduce the next short video. During our all-staff training day, we asked students what kind of training opportunities they'd like us to provide for them as they head towards ISW this year. One suggestion that came back was that we prepare for them a sample of a Trent Reads seminar that students will be taking part in when they arrive in September. So rather than try and stage one, we thought we would record one, which would then make it available for our volunteers and our participating faculty and hopefully some of our incoming students. This year, Trent Reads is going to be pretty amazing for two reasons. Firstly, being our third year, it's really picking up some momentum. There's a lot of people interested in the program and a lot of people helping out to make it a good success. Second reason, though, is the book itself. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell is going to promote a lot of really good conversations. There's lots of food for thought here. In Outliers, Gladwell looks at patterns and he looks at some of the underlying reasons why some people do some pretty extraordinary things. Now, he does all of this using very clear, plain language. It's easy to understand, even if it introduces ideas that you may not have thought of before. What's probably also very good is that there's a lot of opportunities with Outliers to disagree with some of the things that he suggests, as you'll see in the video that we're about to watch. In either case, it is exactly what we want it to be. It gives you an opportunity to reflect, to engage in a bit of critical thinking, and to look at some of the advantages and disadvantages you may have in your own life and how to approach your own successes beyond this point. Trent Reads also gives us an opportunity to participate in something that's just a little bit bigger than ourselves. Because all of our community is being asked to take part and asked to support this, students coming in will feel that maybe they're taking part in something that's a little bit bigger than just an introductory exercise, that they are learning about inquiry, they're learning about critical thinking, and they're learning about the academic process. So take a few hours, read this book if you haven't done so already, watch this next short video, and any bit of effort you put towards this will be well worth it in the end. Thank you.
I think one of the reasons it's probably well chosen for Trent Reads. But then I've got a number of ways that we might go at it. That is, think about particular questions that it might provoke. For example, just so that you've got a kind of heads up on this one, you can maybe start thinking. I'm thinking it's not a kind of how to succeed book, right? I mean, there are lots of sort of how to succeed in business or whatever. And it's not that, because it starts by saying, geez, if you weren't born in January, February, or March, you're kind of cooked, right? Or, if you're Korean, you're going to be a lousy pilot. Or, there are these sort of determinisms in some ways that say, this is how not to succeed. Or, all right, you're going to succeed if your parents brought you up right and if you spent 10,000 hours doing something. Well, if we haven't got around to doing that, not going to work. So it's not that kind of book. So I'm interested in what kind of a book it is, right? I mean, what does he think success is? If it's about the outliers, the ones who, sort of are outside the norms and so on, is his notion of success one that we share? Maybe we want to test that and try that out. So there's another way at it. I'm interested, because I teach literature, I'm interested in sort of the storytelling in the thing. So we might sort of go at it in that way. That is, one of the things that characterizes the book is the stories, is the way he tells stories.
If you are of this, descent and somebody hits you and calls you a bad name, you are going to react negatively to it. And it's, yes, for some people it might be true, but I don't think that's an overarching, image that you should put on those people.
Yeah.
And in reading this, that made me really angry to read that.
Those stereotypes reinforce the stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
By stating them.
Well, there's the danger, right? It says, so a guy can, walk around sort of knocking people's blocks off and say, geez, I'm sorry, I'm kind of, Scottish-Irish. So this is a kind of a defense in court. I've never heard anybody in court say, it's my cultural heritage.
But that's the example he used for the two families that were feuding each other.
Right.
And then the one, I forget that man's name, he had been insulted his entire life, and then finally he got fed up and shot 3 people. And he he got acquitted in court because they were like, well, you knew this was going to happen.
Sure. So there's this jury. That's right. There is that kind of that jury that says, well, of course he shot him. You know, well, anybody would, right? And thinking, I mean, I find that really fairly unnerving, right?
I'm just Scottish.
You're just Scottish.
Yeah, I'm just Scottish. And I can't think of really many associations I can make with myself that I'd say were definitively Scottish.
No.
Stereotypes. So.
Which is another way of sort of testing or questioning the book in a way. You can say, all right, here's my cultural heritage, but I don't feel that way. So